It's dark outside and I've been up in this bitch getting fried. Welcome back to Bestie After Dark, where I, your corporate bestie, read your worst or most interesting dating, romance, and bedroom storytime submissions. As a reminder, if you would like to get your story to me, please visit ycbestie.com/bad, all lowercase, to fill out my form. If you would like to view all of Bestie After Dark all at once, you can subscribe on my website for early access and to support me as a creator, which I greatly appreciate, or you can visit my YouTube on Mondays. All right, let's get into things. I'm clearly back in the Bestie After Dark set. I'm in the process of moving, as many of you know, but also a lot of people had comments and things to say to me over the course of the past week about it not being dark outside, because I do post the individual stories to my social media at Your Corporate Bestie on all major platforms every single night. And guess what? It's dark outside for you when I post them, ain't it? It's exactly. It's an intro, not a guarantee. Come on. Okay, let's get into the stories for this week. The title of your After Dark story time is Onion. This is a horror story to set the mood. Young me was naive and doing dumb shit that's scary in and of itself. I decide to go match with my sister-in-law. She's got two strangers over. They're lying on the bed, up, inebriated on something. At this point, I don't know this, but I thought that she put both to sleep with Fat Ma, girl. You thought that your sister-in-law put both of them to sleep with the cooter? Sister-in-law of what form of relation? I might have read this story before. I might not have. I am kind of in the process of converting to a new system where I have someone who helps me edit this series as well as actually sort the stories. And obviously, this is episode, I think, 19, not even including the stories that I was receiving via DM at first when I initially started doing this. So bear with us in that transition process. But in case I haven't read this story, let's read it. And even if I had, let's read it again. I'm sitting in a fold-out lawn chair, rolling up and fully dissociating as one does. All of a sudden, I feel something behind me. It's one of the zombies arising from their slumber. He introduces himself as Onion. I keep a straight face as he tells me they call him Onion so you can peel back the layers, baby. I give him the please, eat my ass look. I go back to rolling. All of a sudden, there's another ominous shadow rising over my shoulder. It's like Godzilla himself coming up over the horizon. Onion has taken his breastfed toddler's leg wiener out to display to me. I'm in complete and utter shock. It must have been the licking of the J, bitch, I don't know, because he had his whole unit 2 inches from my face, so big. I almost squared up because I thought that it was a whole ass little person. Yeah. He just walking around with a third leg? Jesus fuck. I flip out, and the only thing that he says is, sorry, these 30s got a hold of me, and I thought that you were one of the regular whores. I left so quickly. Still to this day, you can look up this guy as Onion, and I love the fact that I can still show him to my friends when there's any doubt about this story. Send me a picture of Onion. I have read this story before, but I'm just curious. I know that he looks beat as fuck. I just know it in my heart of hearts. The title of your After Dark story time is $40 Blackmail. After leaving a crappy relationship in 2020, I move in with my uncle, my mom's little brother, so that I could keep the really sweet fucking job that I had just gotten. I was grateful to have a place to stay, and things eventually got super weird. My uncle ran a bit of a flop house. People would come and go as they pleased with whatever, things of substance of their choice, and I didn't like a lot of them, mostly the women, because they acted like they were in some weird competition for my uncle's attention with me. Gag. I ended up becoming friends with a frequent flyer, a 49-year-old man that we are going to refer to as G. He was on that stuff, but in my warped mind, he was just different. Y'all, this man was on hard. Not any type of like softer stuff. Okay. The stuff that Whitney Houston said that she wouldn't do. Like, okay. We flirted over text and made plans to hook up while my uncle was asleep. The time came to do the deed, and we thought we were oh so sneaky, being extra quiet and such. We didn't think anything of it at all. About a week passes, and I end up lending G $40. He doesn't pay me back. My uncle senses that I'm upset, and he tells me he's going to get my $40 back, and I figure he's just going to talk to the guy and reason with him and get it back in a regular, normal person way. Girl. You knew better than that. What does my uncle do? He tells G that I'm mentally handicapped and that he has footage of him assaulting me and that he's going to take it to the police and have him arrested if he doesn't return the money. I freeze immediately. Footage? What footage? I'm sorry, because that is a major problem. That is the biggest problem. And yet there is so much else actually to get into here. And you see that, right? Yeah. He said that you were mentally handicapped, babe. What a way to go about it. This is when my uncle informs me that he has cameras all over his house and has caught me doing several different things across the home when I didn't think that he knew. He says there are none in the bedrooms and bathroom, but there were things that he did that made me suspicious. I eventually end up moving out. Thank God. My uncle is now on the run from the police for pistol whipping someone, and he also recently joined the Klan. What? Because my thing is, can I just add, like, with all the different, like, organizations and shit that we have now to turn white men into extremists, to just go, like, all the way super old-fashioned, straight back to, like, the white pointy hats is fucking diabolically insane. He skipped straight past the A beat. Like, that's fucking crazy. All this bullshit over $40. Yeah, friend, that's insane. Oh God, I'm so terrified. The title of your After Dark story time is I Asked My Dad How I Tasted. Please no. Okay, so the first thing you need to know about this story is that my father is gay. He adopted me and my two other sisters. Let's get into it because he was having a midlife crisis. I had just recently broken up with a man I was dating, and I was 18, he was 26, and got with an ex-boyfriend of mine. We're gonna call him Johnny. Johnny'd been staying at my place for a few days and crashing, and literally the only reason I was with him was because he was a good rebound, okay? And so on the porch swing, my father was talking to me one morning and was like, hey, do you actually like him or are you just fucking around because you're sad? And I was like, I'm fucking around because I'm sad. My father says he thinks it's time for Johnny to leave because it's not doing me any good having him around, and I say, okay, fine. Tell Johnny to go home while I go to my job, which is a third shift waitressing job at Waffle House. Girl, I know you can fight. I come home that morning to see that Johnny is following my father around the house like a puppy. And I'm like, what is going on? My father proceeds to say, oh, just because you don't want Johnny around doesn't mean that other people don't want him around. Some people appreciate Johnny. I'm not stupid, and I know what this man is doing. He's not fooling anybody, so that night I'm off, and I wait until after my dad falls asleep. I tell Johnny to come see me in my room, and he comes in there and says, oh, well, you know, maybe we made out a little bit, maybe we did this or that, maybe I topped him some, but we didn't take it all the way. And I'm like, cool, that's fine. But my dad's the one that convinced me to break up with you. And he goes, I figured something like that happened, but if you want, we can use him. Because Johnny is a con man, and so is my father. I make him shower, and then we screw as loudly as we can that night in the house. And when my father came out of the room the next morning, he saw us holding hands and said, what's going on here? I said, oh, Johnny was about to leave because he's going home, but I wanted to know, how do I taste, Dad? And for the rest of the day, my father would not talk to me. My family is a piece of work. Friend, oh, I need you to heal so bad because what? The title of your After Dark story time is Where No Lotion Has Traveled Before. So I was dating this guy who was a Marine. We only dated for a week or two. He was super sweet until it was time for us to go to bed. His roommates, also Marines, were having a party and he just wanted to say hi to his friends. I fell asleep and I woke up alone. I was pissed, so I go to leave and I break it off with him. Well, he texts and he calls apologizing and asking to see me. He comes over. For context, I lived with my mom and her husband. They were in the living room. He says hi to my mother and we go in my room. We get to a middle ground because I'm 18 and stupid, and we make out before he says he wants to try it in the back door. How did we get from point A to point B? Okay. We all do stuff when we're young. I didn't have anything to help things slide, and he said not to worry about it. And keep in mind, I'd only very recently had my first intimate experience to my ex, and it was about 4 months before this, so I had no experience, let alone that kind. He said, don't worry, he had a plan. He put lotion all over it. He didn't try to warm up the entrance at all and essentially had me trying to be quiet, but also screaming as much as I could because what the fuck? Yeah, I never talked to him again. What takes the cake was a few weeks after I hang out with a guy who I was friends with benefits after that situation with, and he knew about it. We go swimming at my apartment complex and go to my room to hook up. I said I didn't have any protection, and he said he had some. He puts it on, and it's so insanely painful. Like, I immediately knew that I was bleeding. I look, and he had put a Walmart bag on it. Okay. I ghosted him due to the obvious reasons. Yeah, okay, thank God. 4 years later, I'm friends with benefits. He was super fit and a trainer, and not in like a gross, unhealthy way, but in like a can throw me around kind of way. And our bedroom life was great. It was fantastic even. We hooked up this last time, and I spent the night like normal, but he was very, very big, so I was sore. Nothing crazy. I go back to my house, and I go to the bathroom, and I feel something come out of me. I hear a drop in the toilet that I did not voluntarily make. I look, and it's our protection. I gave birth to it. My cramping was gone, but I was livid. I called him and I was like, what the hell? And he was like, I looked for it for an hour. Bro, no, he didn't. He was too busy screwing me. That's happened to me before. Okay. I didn't ghost him. He's sitting in my living room. The title of your After Dark story time is Skidmark Wonderland. I was freshly 18 and looking for a boyfriend. I start talking to this guy and we hit it off after talking for a while, so we decide to get freaky. Our first time was normal, or as normal as a man acting like a female in an adult movie can be. And that should have been my first red flag. Was he just like super loud? Homeboy was so loud. Yup. Homeboy was so loud that my roommate actually knocked on the door and asked me to be quiet. It was not me. There was a girl that submitted a story in a previous episode who like broke up with this guy, ended things because he made noise, like squealing. You guys need to link up. Fast forward a couple of weeks and we decide we're going to go to a hotel. So we check into a room, and we go in, but I keep smelling something like shit and it's bad. Like the whole room stunk as soon as he took his pants off. So I'm like, hey, why don't we shower before? He said he doesn't want to, but I'm like, please shower with me. But he wasn't having it. So I put on my big girl panties and I try to brace myself, but no amount of bracing would save me or my nose or my eyes. I finally cave, so we're getting freaky. We finish the deed and he gets up off the bed and reveals the longest fucking skid mark I have ever seen on our hotel sheets. I'm so sorry for you, sister, and I want better for us. I asked him if that was from him. Girl, you know it was from him. You know it was from him. He proceeds to bend over and spread his cheeks and ask me if I saw anything stuck in between. I did. I would have preferred a couple dingleberries over what I saw, and that's how I found out that some men don't wipe because they think it's gay, and he later went on to cheat on me with a man, but swears that he was not gay. I'm going to tell you guys a secret, okay? I don't know if anyone has ever told you this before. Regardless of how anyone else may feel, think, regardless of what they may say, whatever. Babe, the only thing that makes you gay is engaging in same-sex, intimate bedroom relations, getting it on, getting it in, going there. And honey, that's what he did. And so what? 1 + 1 = what? 2. Okay, and if you're a man and you do it with another man, I mean, if it's one time and you're like, no, that's not for me, okay, doesn't sound like that's what happened. So if you're a man, you do it with a man, you keep on doing it with men, what are you? Okay, thank you. Have a good night. On to the next story. The title of your After Dark story time is, Really? My Dad? When I was a teenager, I dated a guy on and off. Whenever we weren't together, we dated other people and always ended up back together. The very last time we got back together, we lasted 3 years strong and solid, and I thought that that was it for me as we were now engaged and living together. But I was wrong. How have I managed to pull 2 dad stories? Okay. A couple of months after our anniversary, I got home and I walked in on him with my best friend. They were full on going at it. It sounds like some shitty Reddit story, but unlike those, this doesn't end with me forgiving them. I'd forgiven a lot in my lifetime, but cheating on me with my best friend in my bed, on my brand new sheets, with my cats in my home? It was unforgivable. And I knew that he was into some very interesting stuff, most of which I completely disagreed with participating in, including things with animals. And I told him I wouldn't participate, and I never did. Can I ask you such a real question? Because everyone will be like, no shaming, me. Let people enjoy what they enjoy. Okay, cool for you. I do whatever the fuck I want. How do y'all be with people that you know are into, because she also, let me read you the full list, fuck it. C and C, PP, pets, age, etc. How do you like be with somebody and be all in love with them and shit, assuming you were in love with him until he fucked your best friend, and know that they are looking at like animals, and I don't want to say obviously children, but you can use your fucking common sense and context clues. No offense, babe. I know that you're trusting me with your story, but like, isn't that kind of the point? I need you to learn from this. Okay? Because there are some things that it's like, did you see how fucking hard I'm rocking my chair right now? There are some things that it's like, fuck all that don't shame people shit. No, bitch. You need to be shamed. This is some weird fucking shit that people shouldn't be doing. Anyways, but yeah, as seemingly a healthy person that is not into pets and piss and kids, you were like, okay, you can be into that by yourself. Like, I'm struggling. I'm really struggling. I am. Okay? Because there is a line at which it's like, yeah, queen, I just hope that you are doing better. Okay? Because, yeah, there are some things that you should not be accepting of. The fuck? I acted like I'd forgive it, though. I acted like I would forgive the cheating, though. I didn't kick him out or cut her off like any sane person would. I happen to know both of them had younger, attractive fathers. If you haven't guessed what I did yet, bestie, I did their dads. Not once, but multiple times over the span of several months. I especially knew it would hurt my now ex-best friend because her dad was absent for most of her life. Oh my God. Imagine having like an absent deadbeat dad and he comes back into your life because he fucked your best friend. This is villainous work. Like, I respect that. I respect you for that. Not for the other thing, though. For the other thing, love yourself, because that was some weird shit. Okay. I felt a little bad after the fact, but then I remembered my new sheets being desecrated, and I felt vindicated. Period. I also did it on behalf of my cats, because how the fuck are you gonna fool around with Simon and Cora in my home? Be so for real. Those are my kids. Facts. Oh my God, facts. My ex-husband has pictures of my cats on his Instagram, apparently, and my friends go every few months and they will report them as animal abuse. Because fuck that guy. And he did hurt my cats. I hate him. Recently, interestingly, I made a list of people that I hate. I published it on my Facebook page. I forgot that his little ass existed. Too tiny to be memorable, sorry. When my ex-fiance found out, he said, "Really? My dad?" And I couldn't help but laugh at it all. I've since cut contact with them, even the dads. I moved out of state, and almost 3 years later, I'm in a better relationship, but I haven't forgiven them, and to this day, my remaining friends call me the Dilf Raider, which I think that there's better names, but I'll live with it. Okay, period. I'm glad that you were the one raiding the dads, and not your dad getting raided, because that would be so crazy to have two of in one night. The title of your After Dark story time is Spicy Psych Files. In my freshman year of college, there was a guy that I was talking to. We weren't exactly dating, but from the get-go, I knew that he was off. The first red flag was that he was an intimate physical relations psychology major. We'd been in the same class for 3 months, and after that amount of time, we'd started dating. It lasted 2 days, and here's why. He started to get really weird. He started talking about, like, what my turn-ons were, and I thought that that was weird considering we had only decided on this 2 days ago. He even sent me a piece of spicy writing with him and I, and then asked me if I was turned on by it, if it got me going. It did not. I was not. I was super uncomfortable and I broke it all off with him after day 2. And by then, in the semester, I had already met a group of girls and they all knew him. The one girl told me that he actually had files of people because he was bi that he had done and collected data and information about their performance. So I'm very glad that I got out of that. That's crazy. Oh my God. He's doing like first party research for sure. The title of your After Dark story time is The Foot Bandit. I dated a guy a few years ago that was super sweet. He loved to travel. He had a nice car. He owned a successful company. Great man until I stayed at his place for the first time. We were watching a movie on his couch and he took off my shoes and started rubbing my feet. No big deal. He also kept telling me how small and cute they were, which was weird, but not concerning. I end up falling asleep during the movie and I get woken up to a bright light. This man was taking pictures of my feet while I was sleeping. Hello, 911. Yes, this is an emergency. This man was taking pictures of my feet while I was sleeping. I got on him about it and he was apologetic and claimed to be taking pictures of the tattoos on my feet, so I stayed. Okay. We finally got to bed and I'm again woken up, but this time he's aggressively smelling my feet. Lots of yelling later. I made him give me his phone so I could delete the pictures he took, and there were so many feet, not just mine, hundreds of feet pictures. I left so quickly after seeing that I forgot my socks. And I just know that man is nasty and disgusting. He called me every day for a month saying that I misunderstood what I'd seen. Girl, I know that it causes you psychological harm. That you left your socks at that man's house. I'm going to pray for you. The title of your After Dark story time is Dog Pee Girl. What the fuck? Fruity hookup story for all the queens. After my ex-fiance and I broke up, I was obviously in my sad girl era, and an old coworker had hit me up for a booty call. So obviously, I go to this girl's house, and she's telling me about how she spent the day at a pride parade. Please keep in mind, we live in Florida. So when we start getting to it, I run the classic finger test to make sure I'm not about to bury my face in something stinky. She never showered after being in the Florida sun all day. So I start finding my way out of the situation. I say I have to use the bathroom to wash my hands. And her dog had pulled out all of her dirty Tampax and they were just covering the bathroom floor. So I'm tiptoeing around this to wash my hands. And I tell her I have to leave because I have to babysit in the morning. And as we are walking too fast to her front door to walk me out, it's dark in the house, mind you, she slips and falls in her dog's piss. And I was like, God damn bitch, are you good? And then she explained what just happened and tried to give me a fucking hug. Whole house smelled crazy as fuck, didn't it? It smelled crazy as fuck in there before the dog peed because it probably wasn't new. Oh my God. Okay. The title of your After Dark story time is I Catfished My Ex-Boyfriend. I've got a Bestie After Dark story. So my ex was really controlling and was a chronic cheater who was always accusing me of cheating. So he kept me locked in the house. I was 21 at the time and he was 33. What's worse is I was under surveillance 24/7, cameras in every inch of the house except for the bathroom. Well, at least he gave you that, right? I hope that you have had some time to heal, babe, because that sounds atrocious. I was to cook, clean, and do everything while he left the house to have fun with friends and go out to expensive dinners. I couldn't even laugh at my phone because he would think that I was texting someone. I couldn't play video games because I would probably talk to another man or have fun and not clean. I was miserable and tired. He'd never stay at a girl's house overnight, making sure I couldn't sneak out or sneak in food or friends. I had nowhere else to go at this time due to him also financially controlling me, and I had no contact with any of my family. So one day I get sick of it. I want a break. So I make a catfish account with my friend's picture. She gave me permission, and I messaged him. For 2 days, I would text him so much, he didn't notice I was on my phone. That girl, icon, iconic. I was at a commencement ceremony today. They had like a sign language interpreter, and every time like everyone would clap, she would clap, and then she'd go. And that's how I feel about you right now. Claps in sign language. He was smitten, left me alone, didn't even look at me. And when I asked what he was doing, he'd just smile and say, oh, nothing. So as that catfish, I asked him to come and visit me 2 states away. It was a state we would both visit for his business, and it wasn't out of the ordinary for him to go out that way. So I begged him to visit. He got up and left that day. Round trip was about 12 hours just for her to ghost him as he got a hotel in a place where I knew that he would have no cell phone service. There was no way for him to check the cameras, no way to call his brother to come keep an eye on me, nothing. And he'd have to drive 15 minutes out to get some kind of crappy service. So I took that time to play video games and chill. I got to talk to all my friends that day and that night. It gave me the strength to leave him. I got in contact with family when he left again to meet with another girl who was not a catfish. It was the day before my birthday, and I knew that I didn't deserve this kind of treatment. Once I knew he was on the highway and wouldn't be able to check the cameras, I moved out in just a few hours. He panicked when he saw the house was empty. He begged for me back, but I didn't go back. I'm happier now, and he is homeless. I'm ending this episode with that story. Yes. Okay, so something I feel so strongly about, so passionately about, is that when you are in a controlling relationship, an abusively controlling relationship, whether it's coercive or not, how do I say it? You are so immersed in this being your life and in just like struggling through the day to day and surviving and keeping that other person happy and getting through it, that you lose sight of the light at the end of the tunnel, and that is your way out. And I feel so strongly that in these situations, I don't fucking feel this way, it's the goddamn truth, okay? In these situations, oftentimes you have no time or space to yourself. And what do I mean by that? You can be alone all day, and you can be on camera, or you can be being watched. Clip that. In my particular case, just as an example, because I'm the narrator here, if I went out, he would like catch me not at home when I was supposed to be, right? And I mean go out to like go to the grocery store to get groceries to make dinner that night kind of thing, because I was supposed to just magically have all of that done. I wasn't supposed to go out in the evenings. I wasn't supposed to and so he would come home or like drive past our house at different hours of the day, and I was supposed to be here. He would just run in and look around, and if not, he would call me and call me and call me. So yeah, sometimes all that you need is a few hours to yourself, right? And for me, it was a girls' night. I ended up spending the night there because I was just so like distraught, and having just that little bit of time to process gave me that extra endurance, that extra boost, that extra bit of strength that I needed. So I'm so happy for you that not only did you get that and get to that point and get to where you are now, but you gave it to yourself. Like, that is so incredibly powerful, girl. Good for you. Like, iconic. Is this somebody, I almost said if you speak ASL, if you sign, is this clapping? I would assume, like the sound. Okay, anyways, Thank you so much for joining me for another wonderful episode of Bestie After Dark. I look forward to seeing you next week. As a reminder, just one more time, if you want to send me your story, babe, all you have to do, go to ycbestie.com/bad, all lowercase. Fill out my little form. It comes to me. If you want to get it to me faster, you do have the option to pay a $2 fee to boost your story, where it actually goes to my email and I read through it and I make the decision whether or not to move forward. Or you can pay $20 to take away my free will and my rights and make me read your story, regardless of if I want to, regardless of if it matches my fucking theme. For $20, bitch, I'll do that for you. Okay, have a beautiful week. Bye.